Ruck a second.
Thank you very much, Kerr. Look, Minister, I'm very keen to get an update on the numbers of people we've accepted on the relocation and resettlement strands of the UN and EU resettlement programme of refugees from Lebanon, Greece, Italy, and to get a sense from yourself as to what the process is once they've arrived here in terms of how are we successfully setting out meeting our objectives in terms of integration and assimilation. This is important that we get it right, and I'm very keen to get an update from yourself in the matter.
Deputy Minister Staunton.
Question. On September 10, 2015, as part of Ireland's response to the migration crisis in Central and Southern Europe, the Government established the Irish Refugee Protection Programme. Under this programme, the Government committed to accept up to 4,000 people, overwhelmingly Syrian, into the state through a combination of the EU relocation mechanism established by 2 EU Council decisions in 2015 to assist Italy and Greece, and the UNHCR-led Refugee Resettlement Programme, which is currently focused on resettling refugees from Lebanon. Ireland agreed to opt into Council Decision 2015-1523 and Council Decision 2015-1601, which allocated the number of asylum seekers who were to be relocated to each member state participating in these decisions. Ireland agreed to accept 2,622 persons under these decisions. As it was not possible to operationalise the commitment in respect of Italy, which numbered 600 persons, the Government agreed to increase the number of refugees it would accept under the resettlement programme. This includes Syrian refugees who had been given temporary asylum in Lebanon. So we committed to accept 1,040 programme refugees under the resettlement strand of the programme. Currently, 928 people have arrived, 875 of whom are Syrian. 113 people will arrive in mid-December this year, 2018, and my officials are working actively with the relevant international bodies to ensure that refugees selected during a mission to Lebanon in June 2018 will arrive soon thereafter. The Government has pledged to take a further 945 programme refugees from Lebanon or Jordan by the end of next year, that's 2019. A further mission to select 231 refugees was carried out in Lebanon in October 2018. This mission completed our pledge to the European Union for 2018. 2 further missions to select 600 persons will take place in 2019. Ireland's EU relocation programme concluded in March 2018. Overall, 1,022 people, 959 of them Syrian, arrived safely from Greece, and work continues to source housing in communities throughout Ireland. As of the 27th of November, 287 Syrians, including Irish-born children, were living in emergency response and orientation centres. A key step in the integration of refugees is moving them into permanent housing. The Deputy will, of course, appreciate that housing falls under the remit of my colleague, Minister for Housing. However, in order to be assistance, I can give the Deputy the general process that will apply in the resettlement model.
Thank you, Minister. The rest will be on the record, and you will have an opportunity to come back in.
Thank you very much indeed, Minister. I welcome the fact that you've gone back to Lebanon to look for an additional number, mainly Syrian refugees, and or Jordan, where I understand the conditions are particularly harsh for refugees, so that would be a very welcome initiative. Can I summarise then that saying that is the stream of refugees we had due to take from Italy, has that closed off now? Is that finished? And I would have thought, I don't know whether you're in contact in terms of your Italian or other colleagues, given the political situation in Italy, it's just interesting that the country maybe has the most difficult political issue around migration and refugees at the moment. It seems to be the one that has failed to be able to relocate. But secondly and critically, in regard to how we integrate refugees once they're here, there's real concern about those numbers in emergency accommodation, or indeed, while it's so true we have a housing crisis, it is critically important that the processing of people once they come here, that they're not held in long-time hotel or other emergency accommodation, that they are actually settled into houses here in Ireland. What's your expected timeline in that? What's the broad figures, rather than kind of going down to the minutiae numbers, the broad outline in terms of when you think we'll have 4,000 people here, and how long would it take to get them housed?
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much. Yes, we were unable to arrange with Italy to bring people here because they wouldn't allow us to carry out security checks on their territory. So we tried very hard, but we weren't just successful in doing that, even though we wanted to. Just to a total of 1,486 Syrians have been housed throughout the country and accommodated in local authority housing in 18 counties. Overall, 1,690 refugees, Syrian, Palestinian and Iraqi, have been housed by local authorities and the Irish Red Cross under the programme. This figure includes Irish-born children. In terms of all refugees who have arrived under the programme, almost 85% of them have been housed to date. The Irish Red Cross is also managing an aspect of the programme to secure accommodation pledged by members of the public. This is largely being deployed to meet the needs of single persons, as few accommodation options exist within the local authority sector for this cohort of people. To date, the Red Cross has sourced accommodation for 96 beneficiaries in 11 counties. The Deputy asked about integration, and yes, there's a lot of focus given to integration and helping people learn language and integrate into the communities. And I must say that across the country, communities are welcoming the Syrian refugees, and that's of huge benefit. We also have a lot of funding made available. I haven't time to go into that detail now, but I can provide it to the Deputy if he so wishes later.
Thank you. Deputy.
As possible, because it is in everyone's interest here that this works and works well. And I think interesting within the figures that it would be good to see from the Minister over the next maybe 5-year period would be figures around the level of kind of language, ability, that have we been successful in terms of bringing the level of understanding and use of English up. The level of work, the assimilation into the education system. It's those sort of basic standards, and I think there's real urgency in my mind in us getting that right. If we start if we can start on the right foot in terms of getting children into education, and indeed adults very quickly, getting people into work as quickly as we can, getting people out from emergency accommodation into housing, that they're integrating really well. I think it's important that the Minister really keeps his attention and focus, and if necessary budget, because we need to get this right for the confidence of our people, for the respect of those who are coming, and indeed further people who may come into the future, so we learn how to do this well.
Thanks for your cooperation, Deputy. Final comment, Minister.
Again, I agree with the Deputy on this, and there is a huge focus being put on integration and inclusion of refugees into the. I visited Donegal myself last week, and I met some Syrian families there, children going to school, parents learning English and working and so on. So yes, there is a lot happening there. We also mobilise European Union funding under the Asylum, Migration and Integration Fund to provide support through local authorities to refugees, and I must say local authorities play a critical role in ensuring the successful integration of refugees through the provision of housing, implementation of a process carried out by the implementing partner with expertise in community integration and relevant supports. This programme of implementation of integration requires a high level of coordination amongst service delivery agencies at both national and local level. Service provision is mainstreamed, and all the main statutory services providers such as government departments, HSE, TUSLA, local authorities are represented on the National Task Force which oversees delivery of the programme. The programme is coordinated overall by the RPP, but service provision remains the responsibility of the relevant statutory entity. And the Deputy is correct, and I thank him for his support on this matter. It is hugely important we get integration right. We're working very, very hard on that with the various bodies, and there is support given for over 18 months to the up to 18 months to the refugees to help them to integrate, and it is working well.